livaayo okuggyako mbadde n'essuubi limu mu kino ekiseera kye mbadde ntuuseemu nga njagala kufa.
Okutulugunya abasibe abalwanizi b'eddembe bayingidde mu nsonga z'omusirikale wa UPDF eyasibwa emyaka 11 nga tawozesebwa baagala gavumenti emuliirire.
Sente ezo bazikomyewo ate era babawa ekibonerezo ekirala nga kyakusibwa emyaka nga 3.
Abalwanyisa obuli bw'enguzi beemulugunyiza bagamba nti ekibonerezo ekyaweebwa ababulankanya ssente z'obugaali kitono nnyo nga tekibamala.
Era olwaleero abasajja bano babadde bazze mu Housing Finance Bank nga bagezaako okubuzaabuza omuntu omu abadde ne ssente.
Obubbi embale abadde bagezaako okunyaga ssente z'abebibiina by'obwegassi mu bitundu ebyo poliisi ebakutte. Obubbi eyiganga ababbi b'ennyama bakwatiddwa eyiganga nsonga enyakudde ate akasawo ku mukazi bamwambudde ssaako n'okumukuba mizibu. NTV ku ssaawa emu ate nnyongera okukwaniriza nze Patrick Mukasa. Munnamateeka era omulwanizi w'eddembe ly'obuntu Ladislaus Rwakafuuze ayingidde mu nsonga z'omusirikale wa UPDF Joseph Masembe agambibwa okumala emyaka 11 mu buduukulu bw'amagye ate n'abanga tawozesebwa. Rwakafuuze era yeeyamye okukuba gavumenti mu mbuga z'amateeka omujaasi ono aliirirwe olw'ensonga nti yali abanja ssente ze ate n'olw'ebbanga eryo lyamaze ng'ali mu kaduukulu.
Mu kitundu kyaffe ekyokubiri omujaasi Joseph Masembe atubuulidde engeri gye yasimattuse okufiira mu kkomera gy'amaze emyaka 11 nga tawozesebwa.
Simanyi Mukama Katonda y'amanyi kubanga nze sibadde na ssuubi livaayo okuggyako mbadde n'essuubi limu mu kino ekiseera kye mbadde ntuuseemu nga njagala kufa wetta nfe nveewo ng'ekkomera linnyiye.
Agamba nti oluvannyuma lw'okumala emyaka 10 nga talaba ku njuba mu kaduukulu ekkololo bagezaako okumutwala mu kkooti y'amagye naye kkooti n'egaana okuwulira omusango gwe.
Bantadde nabulwa mpandiikira akapapula akalaga nti mbadde musibe emyaka 10 na gumu ne bwe nkikugamba musajja munnange tosobola kukkiriza.
Atuwulidde nti oluvannyuma yateebwa naye olunaku telwawera ne baddamu ne bamukwata ne bamuwalawala yogayoga wuuyo mbaale gy'amaze kumpi omwaka mulamba.
Era mukunta taata wange banta natambuza bigere okuva embaale mu Barakisi paka Tololo.
We twogerera nga kati wiiki 3 Masembe ng'avudde mu nkomyo.
Okimanyi nti mu magye gaffe muno mulimu abagwa obugwa eddalu ng'agudde eddalu lwa mbeera nga taliiko lubaale taliiko ddogo naye olw'embeera kyayali asuubira si kyafunye. Abaana be mbadde nabo Kongo mwe bali awo nga 3 mbalaba mu paaka baagwa eddalu nga bali mu uniti yange nga nze komanda waabwe.
Nga bwe bagamba nti sekawuka kaali kakulumye bw'okalaba okadduka. Masembe kati ali mu kutya nti oluvannyuma n'okuvaayo n'ayogera ebyamutukako yandikwatibwa obudde bwonna.
Jenosale n'ayitawo okumutuukako taata oyagala nzireyo mu safe house.
Ategeezezza olwaleero nti waliwo abaamukubidde essimu mu kiro ekikeeseza olwaleero nga bamutiisatiisa.
Nze kye ngenda okukola kutwala musango guno mu kkooti nga nsaba kkooti emuliire omusaala gwe gutaamuweebwa okumala emyaka egyo gyonna gy'abadde nga tasasulwa.
Newankubadde nga yamala emyaka 8 nga tafuna musaala ssaako 11 gy'amaze mu nkomyo nga gwe mugatte gwa myaka 19 akyayagala okudda ku mulimu gwe.
Kuba kino kye kiseera NRA oba UPDF we nalifuukidde omwana gyeri munyambe mutaase obulamu bwange tomanya nnyinza okuba ow'omugaso gye bujja kuba sinza omukadde nnyo.
If it is true that Masembe has been there for 11 years. This is seriously a gross violation of his rights.
Wabula Masembe atulaze ebiwandiiko ebiraga nti aba Uganda Human Rights Commission omusango gwe bagulinda ku fayiro namba 12 omwaka 2009.
We shall also go ahead to look for Mr. Masembe. We should get his contact and report to the commission.
Amagye gagamba nti bakyanoonyereza ku nsonga eno. Jingo Francis, NTV ku ssaawa emu.
Ate yo nga tuvudde ebibiina by'obwannakyewa ebirwanyisa obuli bw'enguzi si bisanyufu n'ekibonerezo ekyaweereddwa abantu abenyigira mu kubulankanya ensimbi z'omuwi w'omusolo mu nteekateeka y'okugula obugaali obwalina okuweebwa abakulembeze b'ebyalo saako n'ab'emiruka. Nga 14 omwezi guno kkooti ewozesa abalyake yakatema akashaka muhanguzi eyali ssaabawandiisi wa minisitule y'ensonga ez'omunda ne banne abalala basatu nga bagenda okwebaka emyaka 10 n'ennaku 10 mu nkomyo olw'okufiiriza gavumenti obuwumbi obusoba mu buna. Bano era balagirwa okubaako omutemwa gwe bakomyawo ku nsimbi zino ze babulankanya.
Oluvannyuma lw'ebbanga eriwerako nga kkooti ewozesa abalyake etadde ku nninga abeetaba mu kubulankanya ensimbi z'okugulira bassentebe ba LCS okw'obugaali, wiiki ewedde yabasalira omusango era abawala n'enguzi kino ne kibasanyusa.
Kino tukisanyukidde nnyo kubanga nsimbi nnyingi ezaabula, ssente ezo osanga zaaliyambye omuntu wa wansi mu ddwaliro oba omwana okusoma.
Eyali ssaabawandiisi wa minisitule ya gavumenti ez'ebitundu John Muhanguzi Kashaka ne banne okuli Sam Erongot, Robert Mwebaze ne Adam Aluma baakaliribwa emyaka 10 n'ennaku 10 mu nkomyo. Omulamuzi Catherine Bamugemeire bano era yabalagira okukomyawo obukadde 600 ku muketegge gw'obuwumbi obuna bwe baabulankanya mu nteekateeka eno. Kino ebibiina by'obwannakyewa ebivumirira enguzi tekyabisanyusa.
Ekibonerezo kye twalisabye nti biliyoni ezo zonna nga bwe zaabula babasabe bano omusango gwe begusinze ssente ezo bazikomyewo.
Kampuni ya ITEL ye yali epataniddwa okutuusa obugaali emitwalo 7 ku buwumbi obusoba mu 11, kyokka obugaali emitwalo 4 gyokka bwe bwatuukako, ensimbi endala ne zibulira mu zigulira abakulu enva. Akaseera konna Paalamenti eyise ebbago ku nnongoosereza y'etteeka ku buli bw'enguzi. Wabula ebibiina bino bisabye mugattibwemu akawaayiro akakkiriza gavumenti okubawa ebyobugagga by'abo ababeera bagguddwako era ne basingisibwa emisango gy'enguzi.
Abalina emisango ne tukizuula nti ddala gwabasinga ebintu bye bakoze nga bakozeseza ssente mu kubba, ebintu ebyo biteekeddwa okuddizibwa gavumenti.
Mu ngeri y'emu n'emyaka egisibwa abalabbayi baagala gyongerebweko. Alipoota eraga okunoonyeza kw'ekibiina ki Transparency International ku buli bw'enguzi mu mwaka gwa 2013 yalambika bulungi nga Uganda bwekwata ekifo kye-17 mu nsi yonna okubeeramu obuli bw'enguzi, kyokka nga mu East Africa Kenya yekyagiyambyeko obutakulembera. Omusango gw'obugaali gwe gumu ku egyo egyakakomekkerezebwa kkooti eno ewozesa abalyake, wabula nga bannayuganda bakyagyegekedde amatu ku nsonga endala ng'ebya ofiisi ya Ssaabaminisita, obuvuyo obwali mu kuwandiisa bannayuganda okufuna endagamuntu n'ebirala. Solomon Kaweesa, NTV ku ssaawa emu.
Yo poliisi Mbale ekutte abasajja 4 abagambibwa okuba bafere nga kigambibwa nti bano babadde bali mu lukwe lwakoba ssente z'abantu abadde bagenda mu Housing Finance Bank. Bano okukwatibwa kidiridde okusimba emmotoka yaabwe mu maaso ga banka era nga kigambibwa nti babadde mu nteekateeka yakuba ssente zaabo abadde bagenda okutereka mu banka eno.
Poliisi okukwata abasajja bano esoose kukuba mmotoka mwe babadde batambulira masasi ku mipiira. Kino kidiridde bano okwagala okudduka bwe bakizudde nti ab'ebyokwerinda babadde bagudde mu lukwe lwabwe olubadde olw'okubba abantu ababadde batwala ssente zaabwe mu Housing Finance Bank e Mbale. Abasajja bano basimbye emmotoka yaabwe mu mulyango gwa bank nga kigambibwa nti waliwo omusajja abadde agenda okutereka akakadde kamu mu emitwalo 3 mu banka gwe babadde batambulirako.
Abasajja bano babadde bazze mu Housing Finance Bank nga bagezaako okubuzaabuza omuntu omu abadde ne ssente bazimuggyeko, naye n'engeri gye baleese emmotoka yaabwe nga bagula kugiringiza ku mulyango gwa banka naye ereeseewo okwekengera.
Diana Nandawulo, omwogezi wa poliisi mu bitundu bya Elgon, akakasizza okukwatibwa kw'abasajja bano.
Era abasajja bano bwe balabye nti tumaze okubazingako bagezezzaako okudduka ne babuukira mu mmotoka yaabwe eyo wabula ntusobola ogikuba emipiira ne tubakwata bonna.
Nandawula agamba nti poliisi yafunye amawulire olunaku lw'eggulu ku bantu ababadde batambulira mu mmotoka nti babadde bali mu lukolo okubba banka 2 era bw'etyo kwe kubatambulirako. Bano baakuggulwako omusango gw'okugezaako okubba.
Eyo nga tuvuddeyo poliisi eyiganga eriko abasajja 2 beekutte oluvannyuma lw'okubasanga n'ennyama y'embuzi ng'embuzi ezabagiddwa zibadde zigambibwa okuba nti nzibe. Nate era eyiganga waliwo omusajja mukulu abantu b'omu kitundu gwe bakubye emiggo oluvannyuma lw'okusikambula akasawo k'omukyala n'ayagala okukuliita nako.
Kigambibwa nti abakwate Asumani Mwanja ne Fazili Kadogo ennyama eno gye bakwatiddwa nayo yabadde ya mbuzi gye babbye ne bagibaagira ku nsiko. Basangiddwa ku kyalo Nabidonga eyiganga nga kirowoozebwa nti be bamu ku kibinja ky'ababbi b'ebisolo ababibaaga ne babitunda mu nnyama enjokye naddala ey'emisito.
Abadde n'embuzi 3 zonna bamaze okuzisala era tugenda kuba kyajinga n'omusango gw'obubbi n'okuliisa abantu ennyama nga ya bucaafu.
Poliisi erabudde abeeyiganga ku kulya ennyama gye batamanyi naddala enjokye.
Omutima gwemulya ku makubo wabano abamutambuza mu budomola ye mucomo oyo gw'olaba.
Sabbiiti ewedde waliwo omusajja omulala poliisi gwe yakwata ng'atunda ennyama egambibwa okuba ey'ente eyafa ekirwadde ekitaategeerekeka. Nateera eyiganga omusajja ategerekese nga Hamdani Mbatya yawonye okugajambulwa abatuuze ababadde bataamye obuggo. Kigambibwa nti Mbatya yakwakudde ensawo y'omukyala omuyise n'agezaako okudduka abule nayo wabula nnyiniyo n'akomba mu kibatu ne bataayiza Mbatya.
Abe ali kwiba omukazi akasawo ak'esente bamugema batandika okumukuba bamwambula yalumuka paka eno mu kikuba kya
yeiba barabamu bene bamukatikiza omukazi sente yadeema buti olumukubyemu yakati kandi bawe.
Poliisi yetaasizza agambibwa okubba bwe yamugye mu babadde bamutimpula. Abeeyiganga batubuulidde nti okunyakula ensawo n'obusimu kukyase nnyo naddala ku bantu ababa bagenda okulinnya takisi.
Ate Ssaabaduumizi wa poliisi General Kale Kayihura ng'ayita mu muduumizi wa poliisi mu Kampala n'Emirano Andrew Felix Kawese ayozayozeza abapoliisi n'abagoba boodabooda mu Kampala okumalako obulungi ekisiibo. Kawese ategeezezza nga bagenda okutandikawo enkola ey'okuwa omupoliisi omukazi anansinga empisa akakisa okugenda ku hijja.
Okutuusa obubaka okuva ewa mukama waffe Inspector General wa Police ng'akulisa abasirikale abasiraamu mwenna bannamawulire abakolagana naffe abasiraamu ba crime preventer abasiraamu ng'abayozaayoza okuba nti mumazeeko ekisiibo era n'abaagaliza Idi ennungi.
Yebale nnyo yebale ddala era wona gyali kubanga ali ku mirimu emitongole mukakasa tetugenda kumufaamu tetugenda kumuswaza tugenda kola ekyo kitegeddwa okukola tugenda kola ekyatusuubiramu okukola.
Tukyagenda mu maaso ne NTV ku ssawemo wabula tugenda kusooka ate tube nga tuwumulamu katono ddala mu kudda tukomewo n'amawulire amalala mangi gotasaanye kubeera nga osobwa nga mulimu ne gano. Ebyenfuna e Holland abalambuzi abasukka mu bukadde 11 bebeeyiwa e Netherlands buli mwaka. Empaka za Commonwealth omuddusi Abraham Kiprimo awankulidde Uganda omudaali ogusoose mu mpaka eziyindira e Scotland.
With 1 million shillings up for grabs every day. Kagwira Woku Airtel Money. Simply send and receive money. Top up your airtime or data. Pay for utility bills, groceries, fuel, and much more with Airtel Money. And you could be one of the day's 5 lucky winners. And if Mr. Money and his crew find you making a transaction, you win cash on the spot. Terms and conditions apply.
Airtel Money. Simple, secure, instant.
So to the young people of Uganda, on Monday, July 28th, we are going to engage young people, speaking to you as young people about your reproductive health and sexual needs, but also engage you on the solutions that are available out there. The government of Uganda is committed to making sure that the young people of Uganda have access to the appropriate information, and so this would be a great opportunity. And I'd like to appeal to all of you young people to watch the live stream on NTV YouTube channel.
Because Africa needs family planning, and we must make sure it happens in Africa.
NTV ku sawa emu ate kulikayo mukumulamu era ketugendere ddala mu maaso. Ekikwekweto ky'okufuuza abavubi abakukusa w'ennyanja obuto ssaako n'envuba embi kyeyongeddemu amaanyi oluvannyuma lw'abamu ku bavubi okulaajanira pulezidenti akomyewo amagye ku nnyanja. Eggulu ab'obuyinza Kasese baagudde ku mmotoka za buyonjo eziwerako nga zikukusa ebyennyanja ebito okubiyingiza mu ggwanga erya Congo.
Bangi kati ku bavubi baliira ku nsiko oluvannyuma lwa pulezidenti okwanukula omulango ogw'okuzza amagye mu mazzi okulwanyisa envuba embi. Era kati ssabbiiti bbiri eziyise ng'ebikwekweto bino bizzeemu okutojjera mu bitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo mwe baayoledde ne bana ababadde bakukusa obwennyanja obuto ku luguudo lw'e Kasese okudda e Mbalala.
Bw'otwogerera ebintu ebikwatagana n'obwennyanja obuto biri mu billions ebiragibwa ebyakwatibwa okulaga nti ennyanja yaffe ebadde eggwawo.
Obwennyanja buno bwakwatiddwa bwabadde bubalirirwamu obukadde 8 ng'era byabadde bitwalibwa Congo.
Olw'okuba nti sayidi za Congo eno waliyo abayekera bangi, ebyennyanja bino bibayita amakayabu biyambako kuliisa abayekera abo. Olw'okuba nti ekyennyanja ekyo kisobola okuwangaala okumala emyaka 2 nga tekifudde, bakikaza ne kibanga eddiba ly'ente.
Abavubi abeegattira mu kibiina ki Association of Fisheries and Lake Users of Uganda bagamba nti ekikwekweto kino kijjidde mu kiseera ekituufu kubanga wabaddewo abavubi ababadde basimbye amakanda ate nga bayambibwako n'abamu ku banene mu gavumenti.
Wabaddewo abantu abakukunavu mu gavumenti ababadde bakolagana n'abantu bano abakukusa ebyennyanja. Ebyennyanja bino birimu ssente nnyingi, kakati nga baddira ssente ezo ze bafuna ne bagabirako abantu abo abakukunavu oba poliisi n'ebitongole ebirala, kubanga ebyennyanja bwe bitikkirwa wabaawo emmundu tosobola kuva eno n'ogenda nti ogenda obikwate.
John Mubirunga ye ssentebe wa Falu agamba nti baatuukirira minisita w'ebyobuvubi ne bamutegeeza ng'ebyennyanja bwe biwedde mu nnyanja kyokka y'ensonga zino n'azikwata mu ngeri ya kisaazisaazi ekyabawaliriza okuwandiikira pulezidenti akomyewo amagye ku nnyanja.
Era tuli basanyufu ekiseera kino okulaba nti pulezidenti yayanukudde omutanga gwaffe n'aba nga atuwadde Jeno Katumba Wamala okulaba nti alwanyisa omuze guno gw'envuba embi.
Bano era bagamba nti okuleetebwa kwa Katumba Wamala ku mazzi okulwanyisa envuba embi kigenda kukwata ku babadde beefudde ekirala ku nnyanja ate nga bakozesa n'ebyokulwanyisa.
kubanga abantu babadde bakalakala n'emmundu n'amasasi ne gavuga.
Dini Lobo Wasava, NTV ku ssawemu.
Ate waliwo bannayuganda gavumenti ya Kenya bebisibidde ku nnyindo ne bagoba mu ggwanga eryo. Bano abawera 20 baziddwa kuno nga tebeesiikidde na kanyeebwa nga kigambibwa nti bayingire Kenya mu ngeri etali nnambulukufu. Mu kibinja kino era mulimu n'abantu abalala enzaalwa y'e Congo, Burundi ne Rwanda. Abantu bano babayisizza ku nsalo ey'e Busia okubazaayo gye balina okubeera.
Abantu bano okuli bannayuganda, abakongo, abarundi ko n'abanyarwanda basangiddwa mu bitundu by'e Kiambu, Kayole ne Bumoja e Kenya. Poliisi ya Kenya ye yabakutte ng'ebalanga kubeera mu Kenya mu ngeri emenya amateeka.
Bagamba nti e Kenya eriyo operation, so bayola buyoza abantu ne bagenda baba screeninga kasita basangamu abantu abatali bana Kenya babagalako zi passport bikibo batolina ezo passport bakuteeka butesi mu makomera.
Twali tutegeera kuti Uganda, Kenya ne Tanzania tuli East Africa, kati Rwanda naye yayongera mu juzi naye kati njeje bakubonaabonesa.
Batotodde engeri embi gye bayisiddwamu mu Kenya okuva lwe bakwatibwa.
Baga nti bamaze emyezi 3 mu makomera g'e Kenya ate nga babakyusakyusa ne bajja mu komera ne babatwala mu ddala mu bulamu bwe bagamba nti bubadde buzibu nnyo.
Era abo baba tubatulugunya kubanze nagenda olaba sigenda malako nensasula bali bampadde fine ya 15 nensasula nenvaayo.
Abantu bano kati beewunya omukago gwa East Africa we gubayambira nga bakyagenda mu maaso n'okusibibwa olw'okubeera mu mawanga mwe batasibuka, so nga ate omukago gwakkaanya ku ky'abantu okusala ensalo kyere.
Eggwanga lya Netherlands lirambulwa abantu abali wakati w'obukadde 11 ne 12 buli mwaka. Ebyobulambuzi biwa Abaddaaki 9 ku buli 100 emirimu. Abantu okusinga bakola mu bifo omwolesezebwa ebyafaayo oba ziyite museum. Museum ezisinga ettutumu ziri 16 naye tugenda kutunuulira museum eyitibwa Open Air Museum mu Arnhem ne paaka ye Madrodam mu Hague.
Ebyobulambuzi mu Netherlands okusinga biri nnyo mu kitundu ekyamambuka awasangibwa ekibuga Amsterdam n'ekisaawe ky'ennyonyi ekisinga obunene kiri e Schiphol. Amsterdam ng'ekibuga kikyalirwa abalambuzi obukadde 5 buli mwaka. Bangi ku bano beeyunira nnyo museum oba ebifo awalagibwa ebyafaayo. Madrodam kye kimu ku bifo ebyettanirwa ennyo abalambuzi.
Museum eno eyitibwa Madrodam esangibwa mu kitundu ekiyitibwa Hague. Y'emu ku ezo zisinga okubeera ez'omulembe wano mu Netherlands. Abakugu basobola okufunza eggwanga lino lyonna ne baliteeka mu kafo kano nga bw'oba okyadde mu nsi yaabwe kikwetaagisa okusooka n'oyitako wano ne bakufunza byonna bye bakola, bazimba batya, ebyafaayo.
Buli kizimbe kya gavumenti mu Netherlands n'embiri z'obwakabaka bwa Buddaaki kirina akayumba akatono akakifaananira ddala nga ne bw'oba totuuseeyo akayumba akatono kano kakuwa ekifaananyi ekituufu.
It could also be an executive preview. So if you visit Holland, Madrodam is a good place to start the trip, but also it's a very good way to finish the trip because you will recognize a lot of the buildings that you have seen during your actual trip in our country.
Madrodam yatandikibwawo mu mwaka gwa 1952 kati eweza emyaka 62. Okusinga yatandikibwa ng'ekijjukizo kya George Madiro, Omuyudaaya eyalwanira mu ggye lya Buddaaki ng'erwanyisa Abajamani Abanazi mu myaka egya 1940. Madiro Netherlands yamuwa ekitiibwa ekisengayo magye g'obwakabaka bwa Buddaaki. Olwo ate bazadde be ne bongerezaako paaka oba museum eno mu ngeri y'okumujjukira. Museum endala ey'ettutumu eyitibwa Open Air Museum mu Arnhem. Eno eraga buwangwa bwa Buddaaki omuli enzimba n'emirimu eby'edda, enneeyisa y'abantu, tekinologiya eyasooka ng'owa windmill, ebiwujja ebyatambuzibwanga empewo ne bisunda amazzi okuva we balimira, n'amakolero n'entambula ebyasooka nga bwe byabanga.
Ekyatandisaawo ejjolesezo ly'ebyafaayo lino oba museum mu myaka egya 1900 nga gitandika kulaga abaana abato n'abantu abakulu n'abalambuzi abajja mu Buddaaki ebyobuwangwa bya Holland oba Buddaaki nga bwe byabeeranga emyaka 50 n'okudda emabega. Bintu bingi ebyewuunyisa byakolebwanga ebikyalagibwa mu kifo kino nga bw'olaba omukyalo ono Fraukia aluka obutambaala obwesibwa mu bulago mu biseera eby'obutiti. Obutambala buno bwatandika okulukibwa mu myaka eyo egya 1500.
Why did you bring your children to this place?
To show them how it was in history, and just to have a good time. They love it here. They can do a lot of things they can't do at home.
Open Air Museum yatandikibwa mu 1912. Abaddaaki abaali tebaagala buwangwa bwabwe kubulira mu mulembe omujja ogwali gutandise. Mu 1987 gavumenti yagezaako okugiggala. Wabula abantu ne bayongera okweyiwa mu kifo kino okulaba ebyafaayo, olwo ate gavumenti n'esalawo erekebwewo. Kati erambulwa abato n'abakulu okuva mu Netherlands mwennyini n'ebweru waayo. Buli kintu ekiri mu museum eno ng'oggyeko emikutu gy'amazzi kyaleetebwa buleetebwa okuva mu byalo ebiri ebbali w'ebibuga ebinene. Mu 2005 Open Air Museum ye yawangula ekirabo kya museum esinga mu Bulaaya.
Enkulikayo Frank Walsimbi ate yajja kubanga akwongera n'ebirala byasobodde okutuukireyo. Waliwo Munnayuganda asitukidde mu mudaali mu mpaka za Commonwealth naye bye tugenda kubanga tubinyonyoka mu kanyomero kaffe akaddako ak'ebyemizannyo tuva ku NTV ku ssaawa.
Jessa Smooth Yogurt comes in various flavors like vanilla, strawberry and banana. Jessa Farm Dairy. Always trusted, always delicious.
Today's highlight with
Nice and Lovely Body Lotion.
Bamuyitani?
Ye namuli.
Namuli?
Sebo.
Ate ddala?
Sirimanyi naye oyinza okumuyita erya kitaawe katungulu.
Katungulu.
Ngulu ddala nga katungulu oniyoni.
Kano ketuli akomuva.
You asked me to start over and that's exactly what I did. I started over.
If you're to start over, then please try and be a little less predictable.
I want to give you a word of caution. I don't want you to hold for anyone or anything. Go bring those records straight over to me. Monica.
Can I come in?
You bring out the best in me. New and improved Nice and Lovely Body Lotion. The 24-hour skin moisturizer that's your skin's best friend. The best in me.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region. watching Morning at NTV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That is going to be the signature greeting across the whole world as millions of Muslims celebrate what we call Eid Mubarak. Actually, it is called Eid al-Fitri. My name is Brian Mlondo, and for the next 2 hours, and the whole entire NTV crew will be camped here live at the Chibuli Mosque. You can also be a part of this journey by celebrating with our Muslim brothers, and what we say here is Eid Mubarak. The rest of the crew is ready. So let's get this Eid Mubarak underway with the question of the day. Today, since it's about our Muslim brothers, priority will be given to you if you have a Muslim name. But of course, with Facebook, you can have an opportunity to make that kupanga the name, but we shall find you out. Please feel free to head on to our Facebook page, Morning at NTV, and of course, use Twitter at Morning at NTV. The SMS platform is also available. That is, send it to 6565, and good luck, especially to our Muslim brothers. Actually, you can give me a name, maybe Hassani, or I'll say Karasidi. You can give it to me and I'll be ready definitely to take it. Now, what is going on right now at Chibuli Mosque is what we popularly known as Okwazina, and the call to prayer to all the other Muslims, and of course lots of preparation here at Chibuli Mosque, inside and outside, and all the crews here are ready. Now, I'd like to also let you know that the prayers from Chibuli Mosque will be coming to you live when they start. But for now, Morning at NTV is going to be broadcasting to you live between Chibuli and the NTV studios. Now, Mabel, this morning, I don't know how I look, but you're definitely stuck in the studio, and again, not out to experience. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate my dress code? Do I qualify as maybe a rich sheikh from the United Arab Emirates?
Brian, good to see you. I looked at you and I thought, is this Hamas? But then I said, no. Brian is a good guy. I actually had failed to recognize you. I must say we are somehow coordinating because I'm in black and white here in the studio. I missed seeing you this morning, but I'm sure you're representing us well at Chibuli, and we'll, of course, be talking throughout the show. Well, a very warm welcome to Morning at NTV this day, Eid, as we celebrate with the Muslims. But as we continue the show, we'll be taking a look at the news here in the studio. Human rights lawyer Rakafuzi has offered to sue the government for gross human rights abuses after a UPDF soldier, Joseph Masembe, spent 11 years in detention without trial, where he was subjected to torture. This comes after NTV snapped the lid of the harrowing tale of Masembe in a torture dungeon where he lost his manhood. In the second series, we reveal how Masembe walked to his freedom.
For 11 years, Masembe has been bound by shackles for a crime he was never charged for before a competent court. His trial on what he says were trumped-up charges of treason was presided over by a couple who were both the prosecutors and judges. But after 10 years of groping in the dark and living in the direst condition of a torture dungeon, he at last got freed.
Simanyi Mukama Katonda yamanyi kubanga nze sibadde nasuubirivaayo okuggyako mbadde n'essuubirimu mu kino ekiseera kye mbadde ntuuseemu nga njagala kufa wetta nfe nveewo ng'ekkomera linnyiye.
Before he was freed, Masembe was carted to the court-martial, but he was not tried on grounds that there was no sufficient grounds for his trial and he had overstayed in jail without trial. He was then set free, but barely a day after, he was rearrested and detained for another year in jail in Mbale.
Bantadde nabulwa mpandiikira akapapula akalaga nti mbadde musibe emyaka 10 na gumu ne bwe nkikugamba musajja munnange tosobola kukkiriza.
He must be able to reveal the culprits, the people who took him to the safe house, because under our constitution, any person who causes your arrest is personally liable.
3 weeks ago, he was released.
Era mukunta tata wange banta natambuza bigere okuva Mbale mu Barracks paka Tororo.
Despite his release, Masembe fears that he could be rearrested for speaking out.
Jeno Sale naayitawo okumutuukako taata oyagala nzireyo mu safe house.
That soldier claimed his salary, and I'm sure somebody else had eaten it. And the only way to silence him was to take him out of circulation.
If it is true that Masembe has been there for 11 years, this is seriously a gross violation.
On behalf of Masembe,
we are going to take it up in the High Court on
of the UPDF gives the disciplinary committee. However, this was the Supreme Court verdict in the case of PRA's suspects in the High Court and Court Martial are not competent to try civilians.
At the African Commission level, the African Union jurisprudence is very clear that civilians should not, under any circumstances, be tried in a military court because they simply cannot get justice in a military court. So the African Union is very unanimous.
Ladislas Rakafuze, human rights lawyer, says as long as the president remains its leading exponent, the court-martial will continue trying civilians.
It is appointed, first of all, by the head of command, the head of the high command, who himself is an elected president, and he uses the military to fulfill his own political objectives.
The president has the mandate to appoint the chairperson of the General Court Martial. Ordinarily, these have been people in the service of the UPDF, people who have extensive knowledge of the army and perhaps military law.
The Shadow Defense Minister Hassan Kaps Fungaro believes the court-martial is an embodiment of flawed justice system.
The military court-martial of Uganda, number one, is faulty. Faulty even to try members of the military. And then again, not suitable to try civilians.
Opio cites research conducted to prove that trials in the court-martial leave a lot to be desired. That there is no fair hearing due to the structural problems of ranking orders from their superiors. That there is no confidence by the public at the court-martial trials. That the process has been reduced to compromise, whereby 80% of suspects prefer to plead of guilty to avoid the long stay of the judicial process.
Many a times, the chairpersons tend to shout instructions as opposed to have a free and fair trial.
In the military court-martial, there is no enough room for defense of human rights.
Fungaro argues that the public does not know how the court works.
The military court-martial must be dissected. It must be split for people to understand.
As hundreds of civilians face trial as a result of the recent violence in the Rwenzori region, the question is the process under the jurisdiction of the General Court Martial legitimate?
It is now 19 years since the affirmative action for women was legitimatized and implemented to increase the women representation in Parliament and other key decision-making positions. Now the women, particularly those who have benefited from it, especially in the political sphere, are coming under the spotlight. In this report, NTV's Solomon Seranja questions whether these voices are articulating women's issues or simply enjoying the benefits that come along with it.
The 1995 Constitution ushered in a new era for women. Recognizing that not only do women have the same rights as men, but also declared unconstitutional laws, cultures, customs, and traditions that undermine the dignity of women. With it came policies such as affirmative action to close gender inequality in politics and education. Subsequently, women representation in Parliament increased drastically with the introduction of district women members of Parliament and councillors in local governments. A number of women have also been appointed to top government and ministerial positions. It is now 19 years since the affirmative action was legitimized. But have they translated into having women's issues being articulated more by those holding these influential positions?
Women parliamentarians were very instrumental around the law against FGM, female genital mutilation, around the law against trafficking. They were also very instrumental around the sexual offences bill. They were also instrumental around the marriage and divorce bill, even though it didn't pass. but many women pushed that bill.
These laws might have been passed with much influence from women members of parliament, but there is growing criticism that they are just being used for political gains.
Because of politics of monetization, the affirmative action now is not serving its purpose, but it has been manipulated and exploited and abused to serve the interests of those who are in power.
Women's rights activist Miriam Matembe argues that the influence of women is hinged on the whims of those in power.
What is happening in Uganda now is having women in power without power. They are brought into power without power, and instead they are serving power.
While Matembe continues to lash out at the women members of parliament for not fully performing to their expectations due to government influence, the former chairperson of the Uganda Women's Parliamentary Association, Alisemera Jen, says the contribution of women legislators can only go as far as their parties project these concerns.
We have party whips. If you bring in controversial issues which the party does not want, they'll whip you and you'll eventually keep quiet.
Affirmative action may have increased on the women's voices in development through female representation, but only for a few.
In order to ensure that affirmative action, especially the seat, is accessed by as many women as possible, we need to address the commercialization of politics.
The women movement are also advocating for 50-50 representation in both elective and appointed positions. Solomon Serwanja, NTV.
Civil society organizations want a harsher punishment given to former local government permanent secretary Kashaka Muhanguzi and his accomplices. Kashaka and his colleagues were last week sentenced to 10 years in prison for costing government over 4 billion shillings in the bicycle deal.
The news of the conviction of the suspects in the bicycle scandal was celebrated by the civil society.
We are happy with the ruling of the Anti-Corruption Court.
Kashaka Muhanguzi, the former permanent secretary for local government, and his accomplices Sam Erongot, Robert Mwebazi and Adam Alum were sentenced to 10 years and 10 days in prison. Justice Catherine Bamgemeire ordered that the convicts refund 600 million shillings out of the 4 billion shillings which is said to have been grafted. The civil society want them to pay back more.
We still feel there's more to be done.
Our request is that the entire 4 billion should be recovered as public funds.
Investigations showed that ITEL company had been contracted to procure 70,000 bicycles for chairpersons of parishes and village councils. Parliament is yet to pass the Anti-Corruption Amendment Bill into law, but the civil society wants strict provisions on the property of the convicted to be included.
So that legally the institutions of government can move into seizure of property and assets of public servants that in cases where such assets have been acquired through mischief.
A 2013 report by Transparency International showed that the Global Corruption Barometer listed Uganda among the 17 most corrupt countries in the world. With a score of 61%, Uganda becomes the second most corrupt country in East Africa after Kenya at 70%. The civil society is determined to sit with that more severe punishments are set for the corrupt. Solomon Kawesa, NTV.
The government of Kenya has deported a group of Ugandans said to be living in the country illegally. The over 20 Ugandans were laymen struggling to make a living through blue-collar jobs.
These are some of the Ugandans found living in Kenya illegally. They were found in the areas of Kiambu, Kayole and Umoja. While the Kenya police say they fall short of legal documents allowing them to be in the country, they claim otherwise.
Bagamba nti Kenya eliyo operation. So
every time there is a crackdown, those without passports are rounded up and jailed.
They allege that they were detained, harassed and asked to pay between 50,000 to 60,000 Ugandan shillings by the Kenya police.
They also say they were moved from one jail to another in a manner that was inhuman.
I know I could not handle the conditions in jail, and I decided to pay some money.
They say they have not realized the objectives of the East African community, which should permit them to move across member countries freely. Also deported were Congolese, Burundi and Rwandese nationals.
To get more women in Uganda to deliver from health facilities, a lot has been invested in terms of creativity and resources. First, the government's introduction of a mama kit, and now the Red Cross, which is providing an even bigger bag containing bed sheets, a towel, and soap for the baby's care after birth to encourage more women to give birth in health centers. The greatest challenge, however, is that, like the government kit, there have been registered shortages for months, which have plummeted attendance. While these are worthwhile innovations, sustainability is proving difficult.
In Finland, each woman, no matter her economic status, is given at delivery a box for the baby. The box includes essentials for a child, as well as a book on breastfeeding for the new mom. The box is large enough to act as a crib for the baby. The Baby in a Box initiative in the country has contributed to making it #1 in the world. The closest Uganda comes to the Baby in a Box initiative is the Mama Kit. This has helped increase the number of women going to health facilities, but only those run by the government. The Mama Kit contains a polythene bag to lay on the bed during birth, leather blades for the cord, cotton wool, gauze, and 3 pairs of gloves.
This cotton even is too little because a mother bleeds for how long after delivery? This one here, and they bleed sometimes heavily. So maybe only 2 days it's done. At least if they could provide a bigger.
A similar project has been undertaken by Red Cross Uganda with the help of the Japanese Red Cross in 2 districts, Amuru and Kitgum. The women receive a bigger bag than the Mama Kit to cajole them to deliver in health facilities.
There is a bed sheet, there is a towel, and then they provide a bar of soap and a bigger, bigger cotton roll.
We don't give everyone, the most vulnerable, and it depends on the assessments. We don't deal with assessments by other people, but our community volunteers.
And this is where the challenge lies for the village health teams.
You find that in the community like this one, they are more than. So we try to do our criteria to select at least the most vulnerable.
But they're all vulnerable.
They're all vulnerable.
Deliveries in health facilities in Amuru district are below 35%. Now, this is really worrying. However, they have been improving along the way, and incentives given to pregnant women once in a while have also helped.
Initially, it was around 21%, but for this running financial year, we have gone up to 34.1%. But I would like to say that mothers come late for antenatal care in the facility.
At the 4th visit, only about 3 of every 10 women will turn up. While the Mama Kit and Mama Bag are welcome innovations, they come with challenges, the most outstanding being that they are not sustainable.
The community is owning the project, and even when it comes to an end, they know how the Mama Bag looks like and how they can also improvise to have a Mama Bag.
Sadly, the community has many impoverished people, and the district's budget does not favor sustainability.
The district sometimes tried giving the patients to the mother, but do we sustain it? Yeah.
The district by itself?
Yes, when we were still in the major Gulu. But we need to look at certain things which are sustainable.
Already, the Red Cross Mama Bags have been out of supply for a number of months, even as the project is set to close next year, in 2015.
What we need to tell the mother is that they should understand the importance of delivering a health facility, especially at the moment when we are interested in option B+.
The leaning is now toward village health teams in the communities.
They know their people and they know how they behave.
They encourage the vulnerable mothers to access support, give birth in an hygienic place like the facilities.
One volunteer, Alfred, says it is not that easy.
Some of them, they do go to a health center, but others, they still believe in other traditional norms. Because in our sub-plan here, they don't want to remove this placenta.
Others are limited by the long distances and bad roads, which make any form of transport hard to access.
They end up delivering with the TBAs, which is against the policy now.
However, it is not a given that if they make it to the health centers, they'll be helped.
We have very few mothers, the midwives. There are 17 midwives, out of which 5 are already in schools.
Without the required personnel, how do we ensure that mothers deliver safely? And I think this is one of the causes of, frustration.
The Chief Administrative Officer, Martin Unzia, feels that it is about time the salary of midwives was increased to attract midwives in private practice to join the government health facilities. Other challenges the district faces in improving maternal health include lack of ambulances for referral. Only one is available and it is in bad shape.
The other issue is the issue of network, just for communication, especially in areas of referrals. Because how do you call an ambulance to really help a mother who needs referral?
Supplies inclusive of equipment are also inadequate in almost all health centers. So incentives, though vital, need to be matched with other factors, including infrastructure, human resource, as well as supplies.
And then the space is not really enough. If we have a mother delivering and also there is a mother who they are conducting antenatal, the place will become squeezed because it is the same block.
Countries like Finland, Norway and Netherlands at the top have improved all these areas. Uganda has a long way to go. The infrequently supplied mama bags on their own are just not enough to meet the grave need. Florence Halima, NTV, Namoro District.
You're still watching Morning at NTV. Now we shall cross over to the gentlemen who are not on the other side of the Serena Hotel, but are actually at the Chibuli Mosque. Good morning, Simon. Good to see you. I like the way you're dressed. What is the mood like?
Very good morning, Mabel. Indeed, on this great Monday morning, where our colleagues from the Islamic faith celebrate Eid. We are coming to you live from an unfamiliar location to many of you watching us from other parts of the country. But make no mistake in guessing, we are at Chibuli Mosque in Kampala. I'm joined by of course, the usual crew of 3 gentlemen, Brian and Joel, all dressed up differently, as you always know us. No bow tie, no nothing, but we're ready to share with you what's in the press this morning. Very good morning once again and welcome to this edition of Morning at NTV's First Review with myself, Simon Kasiati. Looking quite very differently from other times that you've watched me. The same applies to Joel and Brian. Good morning, fellows.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
You're all dressed up like one is going for a Kwanjula, the other is
you
going
know,
to
crack deals, oil deals. No, but these are guys who carry the bags for the real tycoons. Really? No, but for example, when you go to UAE, the tycoons are dressed like this. So actually, I was dressed as a sheikh just a couple of minutes ago.
In positions and all that, you don't.
What is this thing called? I know there's the entire see. Then this is what now?
Now those are questions that will come in our big question of the day, and people need to win prizes over that. So let's not preempt the question. Let's get down to the business of the day. This morning, we are looking at the Daily Monitor. And of course later we'll be joined by the Red Pepper. Now this morning we are waking up some good news for Uganda. One of the Ugandan athletes in the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Glasgow bagged some silverware, which is a bronze medal. This is none other than Kiplimo. And some good news coming in from these games. What do we have on the front pages there?
It was obvious. This is obviously good news for us because many people thought that we were not in any position to get any silver at the Commonwealth. So it's good for us. Kiplimo, who fell at first but got up later, regained momentum, and he finally brought the bronze for us home. Good for us. The other issue, of course, here on the Daily Monitor is Makerere private admission list is out. Cut-off points are a little bit high, especially for sciences, engineering, journalism among most competitive. So those that want to become like people on this site when they grow up, a tall order.
Well, we're waking up to an interesting picture of the day in the Daily Monitor here, and this, honestly, let us have it on air. This is what your parliament looks like. Every morning I wake up and tell you that we have nothing in the names of the 9th parliament. Where this proves nothing, nothing. This is on Thursday last week. Business is going on in the house, and guess how many are in the chambers? I'm seeing a lonely figure. I think this is the Honorable Betty Namboze. Then I can see a few.
Wadri, I think.
Then I can see the Speaker of Parliament.
There's one MP on the NRM side, which is supposed to be the majority. So there's actually more administrators than MPs. I see the clerk, 2 clerks. I see the chief. Who is this?
That is our members of Parliament for you on Thursday.
But my question, these guys need to begin earning their money. My question is then, you know, as a speaker, what do you do? Do you stop business then? Even if it came to voting, quorum is nowhere next to even a quarter of what is expected to do. So what does Jacob do in this? You know, they say he carried on business, but what's the use of carrying on business if there's no one in the house? It depends on what business, because if it's voting, there has got to be quorum, you know, but discussing certain things, etc., those they can do. But ultimately, it does not materialize too much if they cannot vote on certain critical issues. Little wonder. There is heaps and heaps and heaps of policies meant to be passed, laws meant to be discussed and passed. Nothing is done in this house.
Wake up to more news that these very absent MPs, incompetent MPs, have earned 165 million shillings from their shares in Umeme. Now
but that was a wise business investment, and that has nothing to do with whether they attend the house. Perhaps he's saying they spend more time brokering deals. They're usually in town running after
the interesting bit, and according to what the listeners asked this morning, I thought these are the same MPs who are saying kick Umeme out of Uganda. But here they are behind the doors buying shares in a very profitable company. Well, interestingly,
that should be the question now, I guess.
The Honorable Donga, my friend, who is described in this article as an Umeme critic. You mean there are people who just wake up one morning and say, me, I've decided to become an Umeme critic.
Let me read to you what Odonga Auto said. This cannot be true. Umeme is a broke company. That information is not accurate. Somebody must be feeding you with propaganda.
Well, Odonga Auto...
If they send this money to his account.
No, that they do not... That he doesn't pay electricity bills does not mean that Umeme doesn't act. Umeme is a very profitable company. In fact, if you're looking for any serious business decision, and if you're looking for a career outside being a member of Parliament, you may consider being a corporation secretary of Umeme. That place will pay you much better. Of course, only that Umeme will not take the nonsense of coming to work late or not coming to work and expecting to earn a salary.
Yes.
Because I'm sure that's what most of these MPs are used to. You earn a salary which you have not worked.
This picture makes me also ask the question, you know, okay, where do opposition members of parliament get the moral authority to question, you know, the NRM if they themselves are not present on their side? Anyway, both, I mean, we're talking about members of parliament, opposition, government, irrespective. I think they have let us down, and we are lampooning them this morning and saying, guys, you should begin to earn your money. We pay you heavily, earn that money.
I want to believe that the Honorable Sebagala is watching us this morning as he prepares for Eid prayers. You are the Imam of the Muslim community in Parliament. Kindly, in your Eid prayers, kindly pray for this Parliament. Honestly, every person, every religious person today, and it doesn't matter which religious denomination you come from, pray for our Parliament. Because I think we have reached a point where we need nothing but divine intervention. What kind of Parliament is this for?
Yes. And you'll hear them tomorrow probably saying, with these guys, what are they talking about?
They will be given front positions in
the mosques, churches, on Sunday. Yeah.
Please, let's shun incompetent people. Let's learn to give people credit that they deserve. I don't understand this.
And I hope the general public can get behind us. You know, you talk about them being given front seats and that kind of thing. We should begin to shun some of these fellows. You're not in parliament, you're not debating, but you see, people have this fear for MPs. They tend to imagine these guys are sacrosanct. They are not. So put them to task. I guess that's the confusion we also have between, say, for example, the media, you know, agencies. What do you do with a client, for example, that advertises with you? Do you shun them and miss out the money? Because these people actually fund the mosques, the churches. But they give the big tithes and offerings. So you're kind of left in a place, you're between a hard rock and you know, so... But think about it more critically. Those are the crumbs of buying you a coffee and paying school fees for you. They're supposed to be passing legislation that is supposed to be ameliorating Ugandans. That's the bigger picture than these little things. So I think we need to look at the bigger picture.
Well, more news coming in. It's been a deadly year, 2014, for the Ugandan police. We're waking up to sad news of another police officer belonging to the flying squad being shot dead in an exchange with thugs somewhere in Kawempe.
And these guys have been, of course, going to Nachivubo. You know that Nachivubo Channel area and so on, some of those places were no-go areas for citizens, for police, but the flying squad is saying, look, we are going to come and snuff you out. Some collateral damage there.
Well, I've woken up this morning and on my way here, I passed some couple of railway crossings and I have witnessed a very serious eviction of all these rail land encroachers. You know those little shanty structures that are built along the rail reserve line? All the way from down in Chinawataka up to Namuongo. All these have been slashed down. And I want to give kudos to the Uganda police for effecting this. I parked somewhere and listened. Oh, how can they be so unfair to us? This time we're not going to vote President Museveni. Folks, I know they have nowhere to watch us from, but when you encroach on a railway reserve and you build a shanty town and they demolish it after giving you several warnings, please move. But we're waking up to a story this morning in the Daily Monitor saying that government will compensate some of these encroachers on rail land. What is this?
Well, they've been there for a long time. I guess that's government's way of saying sorry for your loss. Yeah, you use this for some time. But of course, the people who are encroaching on that land will say the money is not enough.
If I've been committing a crime for a long time and finally I am caught, I should be compensated.
That's goodwill on part of the government. That's goodwill on part of government. Encroaching is obviously not the same as, as killing someone. It's like how people will be evicted for building under the huge electric wires.
Yeah, but for their own
give
sake,
them something and they go away.
I forget the country. I don't know. Not too long ago, these guys actually that have structures along the railway line. I think there was an accident. The train got derailed. It exploded at some point, and there were serious casualties. So it is for their safety, like I said.
Yeah. Well, on this Eid al-Fitr morning, we also wake up to news in the Daily Monitor that Ugandan students win Quran contest. It is here in the Daily Monitor. Quite a very interesting feat and couldn't have been more appropriately placed in the papers today.
Sweden resumes aid to Uganda.
One by one they'll come back.
Is this a surprise? But World Health Organization saying, stop decriminalize gay rights.
Why had they stopped giving us aid?
Because of the laws that were passing.
So these laws have been repealed?
I don't know they changed the position, but we said they will be fine, and slowly but surely they are becoming fine. And you keep saying no. Are we like behind the curtains also lobbying for something different? Because every day you hear our leaders coming out and still saying we are not killing anyone. Somehow the position is slowly changing also on the part of the leaders. So I think there's a bargain somewhere that we do not know about.
Look, I don't know about you. I'm not too excited about this whole foreign aid thing. Now we're getting excited, they're coming back and so on. Look, from the mid-1900s to date, over $1 trillion has been injected into Africa, courtesy of foreign aid. I don't know whether you see any change in terms of positivity, what this money has done. It has not done as much as opposed to, we need to get a point where we grow up.
482 million euros that was put in the Mbarara highway, Masaka Road. You can see for yourself.
That's how much?
486 million euros.
Million euros.
There is another 498 million euros between Mbarara and Katuna. If you go there, the road is being worked on, and where it has been completed, especially between Ntungamo and Kabaj, residents are happy. So there is a case.
Of course, without a doubt, there are some the southern bypass is being worked on.
The northern bypass, at least halfway was done. The other part will also be done.
But look, you talk about 400 million, you talk about $1 trillion over. We cannot account for the rest. Of course, there are some donors who insist you're going to account for our money. But the bigger picture really is we have got to grow up. Yeah, these guys are doing some good things for us. Thank you. But you see, it comes with so many strings attached. Now, all of a sudden, they'll begin saying, don't do this. And we cannot huff and puff and say, no, don't tell us what to do. I think we need to grow up.
Someone said that we should stop treating Africa like a business project where we keep on investing and wait for profits. But I think as Africans, we've made ourselves be the business project. Because at the end of the year, first of all, we fail to account. And to where it works, we still having excuses of why some things fail. So the investor keeps reviewing this project and adds or reduces the money they bring.
Quote of the day. This one is by...
wait a minute. Before you go to the quote of the day. Just the other day I hosted this lady, the Honorable Nakauchi, on the big story. And we were discussing South African affairs matters. This lady did not tell me that she was going to get married again. Somebody who I know is already married. Anyway, it's interesting. In the red paper here, we are seeing a a pictorial of the Honorable Nakauchi marrying the former Honorable Alintu Mansam.
Is he a Haji? Yeah, he was married. She was married too.
And none of their spouses is since dead. But anyway, let's not go into the private issue. But I think we will be getting more and more interesting stories in that realm from our members of parliament, ex-members of parliament.
Since they are not in parliament.
Since they are not in parliament.
They are out of having dates.
Yeah, I mean, if you cannot deliberate in parliament, then you can as well go, at least there's some good news coming that you're spending more time between the sheets, which for me, I think is productive. And every pan is intended.
Every one of them.
Every one of those pan is intended.
And talking about MPs, this is an MP, this is the Prime Minister. Quote of the day here, he says, he was welcoming, MP Brennan of Kenya. He says, on behalf of the ruling party, I would like to pledge our total commitment to cooperate with you. Now, relatedly to the Prime Minister, there's a group of young people, Chairman Uganda Youth Council and a few other young people that have petitioned Parliament over his remarks. Because the Prime Minister was, I think, being hounded about the 19 arrests of youth in his constituency, allegedly associated with him, and he was saying, look, police be more professional, etc., etc. And these young people are saying, no, 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 no. The Prime Minister is actually supposed to be defending the police. But the Prime Minister is saying, look, I will defend you when you do good, when you do bad, I will not.
I'm getting increasingly disgusted by the word youth, because sometimes anyway. No, forget about even being old. Young people who, when they open, they are just good as youth until they speak. Now, this youth council. So the Prime Minister must commend the police even in the face of incompetence and whatever. So the Prime Minister should thank Parliament for being empty because it's the lead of government business. The Prime Minister must never castigate an incompetent national leader or civil servant simply because he's the leader of Parliament.
Yeah, that's the next generation of our leaders that we hope that we are breeding. May God help and help. Well, if you're just joining us, we are at Chibuli Mosque, and we promise to bring you quality broadcasting. That's what we are doing today. So, to all our Muslim brothers
and sisters,
Eid al-Fitri. Otherwise, the generic would be Eid Mubarak.
Well, there we have it, and indeed we'll be joining Mabel now to bring us to speed with what's going on the international scene, after which we're going to the big story. And in the big story, of course, we'll be capping the many days of fasting that the Muslim folk have been undergoing, and we'll be discussing what this means as a pillar of Islam, to fast and give good. We'll be right back. Stay with us. But Mabel, bring us to speed with what's happening on the international scene.
Thank you very much, Simon. Indeed, today is Eid, a celebration of the Muslims that marks the end of Ramadan, the month of fasting, according to their faith. Well, on the international scene, on the Reuters page, the big story here is about the U.S.-Israeli tensions rising as hostilities in Gaza subside. But we have seen a lot of fighting there. Israel sees no need for another ceasefire, as an Israeli official was quoted as saying, as tensions between Netanyahu's government and Washington flared over the weekend. Now, starting off with the CNN page here, Israeli says rejects blames for shelter deaths. Apparently, a rocket was fired into a compound, a UN school that sheltered many Gaza residents, and 16 people were killed. The Israelis are actually denying this, but according to the residents there, 16 people were killed. They do agree that a single Israeli mortar could have landed nearby, but no one was hurt. That's according to the Israelis. Now, we are continuing to see planes and more plane accidents. This is a freak accident that happened in Florida. A plane couldn't make it to the airport, decided to land on the beach, and in the process killed a gentleman, and his daughter is actually critically injured. And the Ebola epidemic in West Africa really is not ceasing. Now we see a second American infected with the disease. Earlier I heard that the doctor we spoke about had died. It's yet to be confirmed, but the outbreak is continuing. And in Liberia we see the borders being closed, and there are very few entry points, and at each entry point there is a secure checking to make sure that the disease is actually contained. Now on to BBC. I saw this story, and this actually amazed me. A 13-year-old girl has won a bronze medal in the pool, and it got me thinking about here in Uganda, here in Africa, How young do people get before they're introduced into competitive sport? Well, she won her first bronze medal in the 100-meter breaststroke final, and it's just simply amazing at 13. I'm sure her name will be popping up in subsequent competitions. Now, the Air Algeria plane that crashed last week, you can see wreckage of it here. It actually crashed in a remote part of Mali. I think that's what has taken them so long to actually find it. The black boxes have been recovered. The French president has promised that the bodies of the 118 people who died on the plane in Mali will be brought to France. Most of them were actually French nationals. The plane was flying from Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso to Algeria, but it crashed in Mali. And this is an interesting picture on the Sky News page. US images are showing rockets being fired from Russia into Ukraine. And it also shows that a lot of military artillery has crossed the border, and this is in support for the pro-Russian separatists. And it's quite scary because I think we're not going to see any sign of this. Obviously, there's a lot of tension considering the plane that was brought down the other week. And still on to Sky, UN calls for unconditional Gaza ceasefire. The Security Council expresses grave concerns about the loss of life and urges both sides to abide by an immediate truce. Now, that is all we had for you here. Morning at NTV continues right after the break.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Yes, Towakana with 1 million shillings up for grabs every day. Kagwida Woku Airtel Money. Simply send and receive money, top up your airtime or data, pay for utility bills, groceries, fuel, and much more with Airtel Money. And you could be one of the day's 5 lucky winners. And if Mr. Money and his crew find you making a transaction, you win cash on the spot. Terms and conditions apply.
Airtel Money. Simple, secure, instant.
NTV Cares. Kindly join us in this noble cause. We present to you a fusion of local and international art cultures with live music performances by Maurice Kiria, Maurice Harser and other artists, while supporting the people of Napak, Karamoja. This 31st July 2014 at the Lawns next to Koloro Airstrip at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are now available at the Soundcap Garden City, the Lawns in Koloro, and homeduka.com.
Hey there, Mr. Krabs! Are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Wow! Hello, fellow motor enthusiastics.
Mr. Krabs, isn't there any way for us to return all of them back to normal?
Hey! How'd he do that?
The Red Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought! It's time to finish this thing up!
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Mega Rangers? That's a mega win!
Hello?
King Julian, you are truly inspiring. Ow!
SpongeBob! Fantastic!
Obonyumirwa ebyemizannyo jangu nkulage.
So to the young people of Uganda, on Monday, July 28th, we are going to engage young people, speaking to you as young people about your reproductive health and sexual needs, but also engage you on the solutions that are available out there. The government of Uganda is committed to making sure that the young people of Uganda have access to the appropriate information, and so this would be a great opportunity. And I'd like to appeal to all of you young people to watch the live stream on NTV YouTube channel.
Because Africa needs family planning, and we must make sure it happens in Africa.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulondo.
Welcome back from the break. You're watching Morning at NTV this Eid. Now, if you haven't yet been to our Facebook page, we now have 23,000 likes. So thank you for liking our page. And this is one of the pictures that you can actually see on our Facebook page. The three sheikhs for today, Joel, Simon and Brian at Chibuli Mosque. And now that's where we shall be crossing this moment for the big story with Simon. Hello, Simon.
A very good morning once again. Joining us on this Eid al-Fitr morning, the Monday day of the 28th of July 2014. And yes, we're coming to you live from the Chibuli Mosque in Kampala. This morning we are capping the many days of fasting that our folks in the Islamic community have had, of course, as one of the major pillars of Islam. And this morning, as we cap speak to the Imam of this mosque, Sheikh Abdul Salam Mutiaba, who will be joining us to discuss with us a little further what this whole fasting, praying and piety moment as a pillar of Islam really does mean in their religious undertakings. Good morning. We'll be right back with a big story on that subject. Welcome back once again. A very huge congratulations all of you who have capped your many days of fasting, and this morning we're discussing further this subject of religious piety with the Imam of this mosque, the Chibuli Mosque, and he is none other than Sheikh Abdul Salam Mutiaba. Good morning, Sheikh.
Good morning, how are you?
Tell, how does it feel now that you're capping these many days of fasting? Just, bring us to speed with what this pillar of Islam actually does mean.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, salawatu rabbi wa salam wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, allow me, Mr. Moderator, I thank NTV. Because from the starting of the whole month, I was there always during Friday when we were quoting 35 minutes during the whole month of Ramadan on Friday prayer. The whole month of Ramadan, as you said before, is the pillar among the 5 pillars of Islam. And we have the quotation from the Holy Quran, from tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him, telling us to fast this whole month of Ramadan. And it's holy, as we hear it from the Holy Quran and from tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And we have been witnessing the humbleness, how the Muslims were behaving in this whole month of Ramadan. Fasting, reading the Holy Quran, praying at night, doing every good thing during this whole month of Ramadan. Really, we are missing this whole month. Most of us, we are saying if we can be a year or 2 months or 3 because of the goodness we benefit from the whole month of Ramadan.
Ask you, Sheikh, why do we restrict goodness, prayer, piety to 1 month? When we have an entire year to live, why do we become very good only in that? Then after today, we go back to our sinful ways.
Oh, that question, I can request all Muslim community in this country and outside Uganda to remain as they have been in the whole month of Ramadan. It's that the Prophet, peace be upon him, advised us to do. Not only in the whole month, because the whole Quran, it's not that we read the whole Quran only in the whole month of Ramadan. No, we read the whole month of the whole Quran on the entire year, behaving well from the tradition of the Prophet. The Prophet, peace be upon him, advised us, behave well the whole year, sharing the goodness with the brothers and sisters in Islam, It's the whole year, not only. The whole month is just addition of the rewards from the Allah. But it's Quran and the Prophet, peace be upon him, advise us to behave well in the whole month, the whole year. Not just in the whole month.
Yakusaba katudeko mu Uganda katono. Edini y'Obuyisiraamu efunye okusoomozebwa kungi wano mu ggwanga. Oyinza kutunyonyola edini y'Obuyisiraamu etetenkanya etya emirimu gyayo wano we tuli.
It's not as you said in kutetenkanya. The challenges, all the world in the challenges. Ate ffe challenges zonna tuzimanyi mu nsi. Si wano wokka, si Busiraamu, even other regions, I think. Naye ffe kasatufuna challenge yonna, we sit down and we pray to Allah. That's the challenge, how you can pass through that one. Tuva mu challenge ezo kufukamira kusaba Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala na kubeera nga tumusaba abeere nga atuwa ebirungi bingi n'ebizze mu ddiini yaffe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abeere nga abitutaasa abitukingiriza. That's all. With prayers.
But you see, beyond prayers, there must be some physical actions that one must do to avert themselves from the challenges that they face.
Like what?
That's what I'm asking. What would you advise the Muslim folks in order to stay indeed in the line of what the Prophet, peace be upon him, advises you to be like humble, good, throughout your times?
Suppose as the moderator asked me, omwaka gwonna omulamba si mwezi gwa Ramanzaani gwokka bwe tulina okweyisa, bwe tulina okuwangaala, bwe tulina okutambula. Challenges tujja zivuunuka nkubiriza abasiraamu bonna mu ggwanga tusigale nga bwe tubadde mu mwezi gw'ekisibo. Okusoma Qur'ani, okuliisa abantu emmere, okusaala ekiro, okweyisa obulungi, okwambala obulungi, the decency in wearing, both brothers and sisters in Islam. Tekigamba tukomye kwambala bulungi, my sisters, okwambala hijabu tukomye mu Ramadan muka. No, it's the quotation from the Holy Quran nti omukyala alina kwambala bw'atu nga yeebikkiridde bulungi nga babadde bambala mu kisiibo. Era one day when najja ku NTV nafuna nnyo amasimu nga nvuddeko when nasomesa abakyala okwambala fitting, you remember very well. One day I visited NTV. So bwe tulina okusigala nga tweyisa nga twambala bulungi, tweyisa bulungi, tuyamba bannaffe in all the way.
Let's look at today's celebration. You're expecting hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people to come here and pray with you.
Yes.
What modalities have you put in place to ensure that, one, you accommodate all of them, but you also consider the issue of security? Because as you know, many people can come in.
Exactly. First of all, when I watch that, we will see coverage jolina NTV nakuwadde eri endi nandibadde kuwa wano or other in parking. Let's move behind us. Wano wonna abantu bagenda kusalira. Even we don't allow the parking here. Awo wonna abantu bagenda kukola even down the road. That's why we added some big horns like this one. Abantu abaleri wansi ku dwali bakola ki kiwole okufuna nga sala bulungi fenna. Security eri tight. Those arrive from down on the hospital, the entrance. About traffic when we have many. The what? The policemen. The security, alhamdulillah, we thank God, it's good. From night. That's the Navasidikale one, Ngabaku, with this venue.
Sheikh, I think, in all fairness, I would love you to just give another message, a strong message to the Islamic community. Beyond the fact that they should stay good throughout the whole year, but Bubakachi Obunini, Ramadan, Ngabwe Gwaho, Katingaturi Mutidi, Chichi, Chetubagamba. Sibasira mboka ne banayuganda abantu banamunsi.
Ekisooka all the time tusigale nga tusabira ensi yaffe naffe nga twesabira. In Islam tetugamba nga twamaze okusiba is finished. No, we still pray Allah to accept. There is another turn also. Tetwamaze tetunnamala ffe. We have after Eid 6 days. After Ramadan we have to fast 6 days because we have the tradition of the Prophet, peace be upon him, advised us to fast 6 days after the whole month of Ramadan. Abasambo namba kubiriza n'abanna Uganda mwenna tusigale nga tusabira eggwanga lyaffe, tusigale nga tweyisa bulungi, nga tukolagana bulungi n'abantu. Relationship with other people is good. Because you are here today, because we have a good relationship with NTV and other medias also.
Sheikh Abdul Salam Mutiaba,
yes,
the Imam of Chibuli Mosque. Thank you so much for joining us on the big story this morning. And indeed, God bless you and have a wonderful Eid celebration.
Thank you.
I will pass by your house for lunch.
Inshallah, you're welcome. Thank you very much. I thank NTV for this wonderful work from the start of the whole month of Ramadan. I pray to Allah always. Our customer Banji. So I have a friend from Washington.
Yes.
Young man. Then I was feeling happy. NTV, Uganda, Washington, DC.
Well, since you are Imam, you may wish to just close it with a small prayer for us.
Okay, I pray to NTV, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, abawa amanyi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, milimu jangu mujukole bulungi, abata abagala, Mungu abasase bintu bakolere bibere nga bibaddira. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I wish you the best.
We'll be right back with Simon Says after this very short break. Chivuli Mosque, Sheikh Abdul Salam Mutiaba. The message is loud and clear that you've had a month of fasting, you've had a month of piety, you've had a month of goodness. But that should be the way of life. It shouldn't only stop in the holy month of Ramadan. You should extrapolate that to reflect the entire you as you live your entire life. Indeed, as the word that specific time when you're fasting, but it should be good throughout your entire period. The moment you then the collective goodness of every person that you impact on will certainly have a very huge impact on the collective goodness of this country and the productivity in our daily work. We congratulate all of you who have completed your holy Ramadan, and indeed you stay within that line of goodness, and you pray for those of us who are not as pious as you are. May God bless you. But for you who are watching us from the comforts of your home or wherever you are watching us from, stay tuned to NTV. We will be here the entire day, bringing to you live the Eid prayer starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. But before that, Morning at NTV is coming from this very location, and we won't stop until the day is concluded. Have a good morning. Let's meet same time, same place tomorrow for the big story. Rest of you, God bless you and have a wonderful Eid celebration.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulondo.
We want to appreciate government for this new bill, public finance bill. It is indeed a very good bill which is going to close the gaps in the management of public finances. However, as Western and Civil Society Forum, we draw our attention to clause 25 that gives local governments mandate to collect, deposit and retain revenue. We argue that the MPs should include in the bill that the minister shall consolidate and report on the monies or on the revenue collected to Parliament over a period of 6 months.
So ask your MP to support that inclusion to clause 25 in the Public Finance Bill 2012.
This message is brought to you by CS Bank.
I'm going to blow your mind and I'm going to twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
Aro, give me 5 stress, 3 gonorrhea.
Kale muli wano, you think you've brought campasas? Omwana yena sobolo gamba super deep. Simiaka jafe.
I'm like, I like my swag too. So what about it? Then she was like, I also like your accent. That village accent. Now.
Okay, why didn't sign for when you got political Tayaka, no Mozanga Nakajawa?
Katina Kambuza.
Mukabete, why are you crying?
I think I'm Big Mitch. Larry Hoover. Put that in Kiprochichi's accent.
I think I'm Big Mitch. Larry Hoover.
Mubonyumiro ebyemizannyo jangu nkulage.
Does! And Adam Johnson, the boyhood Newcastle United man, historic, flying in the face of all football logic. A magnificent goal by Robin van Persie. Ferdinand! Everton lead at Old Trafford. Walcott, Giroud. Suarez. Super Suarez. And backs it up.
Kampala has been voted in the past as one of the favorite cities for tourists, one of the most peaceful cities. That is something that is changing.
Kale Kaihura, the Inspector General of Police, and President Yoweri Museveni, their alliance, they can only crack down or stop individual strikes and individual demonstrations. But I don't think they can stop the growth of militancy.
No holds barred.
Besigye and Lukwago have particular grievances against the government, some legitimate, some misguided. What should the police do? Of course, the police has to...
Hey there, Mr. Krabs! Are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Turn all of them back to normal?
To make them love me again.
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Mega Rangers? Yeah. That's a mega win! Hello?
King Julian, you are truly inspiring.
Ow!
SpongeBob! Fantastic!
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for their NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admired President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal code targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only two individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
The average age of the international team is under 18. And so
the primary role of Team Uganda is to remain to Division 2.
Probably that's the only thing that can make one or two rugby fans smile, that the Cogs are doing well.
The players haven't put on they haven't wore the game faces. They're not the animals we saw last season, because Ferguson had the same group of players and he did deliver the Holy Grail, which is the title.
Gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait. Yeah. There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions, but when it comes to taking action and choices, you have to move.
Jesus Christ found me, and he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
Mikwano gyaffe bana NTV ate naddala mu bannaamu muli gw'emizannyo. Muli gw'ebyemizannyo gukomyewo 2:14 ate mutya. Kati ate gukyusiza n'obudde. Kati gwa 7 gwali gwa 9 ne mugugoberera ntusanyuka. Kati gubongereddeko wano malya g'ebyemisana awo. Osobola kugubataayize gubaletire kintu kyonna kalonda eno byemizannyo. Muli gw'ebyemizannyo mupya 2:14 Isima waali alagira Argentina yenjo mukubire eddiba lye omukwano kujja kukoma wano ku muli gw'emizannyo naye kasita kinatuuka eri bano ba Messi okulumba abalenzi baffe ba Thiago Silva awo tewali mukwano omuli gw'ebyemizannyo 2:14 President.
So to the young people of Uganda, on Monday, July 28th, we are going to engage young people, speaking to you as young people about your reproductive health and sexual needs, but also engage you on the solutions that are available out there. The government of Uganda is committed to making sure that the young people of Uganda have access to the appropriate information, and so this would be a great opportunity, and I'd like to appeal to all of you young people to watch the live stream on NTV YouTube channel.
Because Africa needs family planning, and we must make sure it happens in Africa.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Mulondo.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us today. We are here in the studio and also live from Chibuli. We can see Brian Mulondo, that gentleman who loves selfies. He's here taking a picture of himself. He took this earlier. And to some of your comments right now, someone is saying, Brian, wetaga chiboko gwe. And someone saying, what's up, Swahabu? Thanks for the show. You guys look very smart today. Brian, thanks for the show. The first Eid was celebrated in 624 AD by Prophet Muhammad and his companions. And that was the answer, actually, that we were looking for with our question of the day. We have Bruhan saying, seriously, man, unso seyo na nange nzija Eid Mubarak. Good morning, says NASCOM. When did those of Brian fast? Vincent is asking. Because they have been taking cups of coffee every morning. At least me, you haven't seen me take chai. And Dan John says, Brian, you'll be sued by the Muslims, just like our brother Dr. Hilderman was sued by the Catholics. I hope that doesn't happen. And Florence Kasi says, haha, ne Brian, eyo kanzu, siya basiramu. It's not for the Muslims. And on to some other comments here. We have Masika Scovia saying, I think they are looking like Mecca. This was a beautiful picture, Brian, Joel, and Simon taken earlier just as they did the press review We have Faith saying, I wish you three always dress like that. You look great. We have Dorothy saying, Mutukuba, you are looking amazing. You're looking mzuri. And then Amos Ngaba saying, good looking guys, happy Eid. And we now cross over to Brian to tell us what's happening in Chibuli. Good morning, Brian.
Well, thank you so much, Mabel. We are still at Chibuli era unakwaya tugamba nti Eid Mubarak eri abanaffe abasiraamu mwenna gye muli ensi yonna ejaguza ensi at morning. But also
we do apologize for that technical glitch. Our people will be working on it, and we shall cross over to Brian later. But now on to some more of your messages on Facebook. Remember, if you haven't yet liked our Facebook page, please head over there. It is Morning at NTV. Lots of tidbits for you to enjoy, and we will get back to you with whatever issues or comments you may have. We have Ngabire Amos saying, good looking guy.
If you are a Muslim, please share with us what your experience has been during this month. Who may not understand this, there are two types of Eids. One, Eid al-Fitri, which is this one, where Muslims will fast over 6 days and another 6 days to fast, cleanse out everything. Also there's Eid Adha, where animals are slaughtered, okay? Typically al-Fitri, and our Muslim brothers are flocking in. And you're gonna in your Sidamu, China Chichkung, the Kukubana Osubra Babu, Nadara, Osubra.
Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah Akbar, Bafiri, Dwenenyo. Jubia Ferry, Allah, your تعالى saba mwezi guno netusulanga tetwebase tusaala kugamba tusaddaka.
And today is Eid. If you're just joining us, a day of great merrymaking and thanksgiving amongst the Muslim community. We do apologize again for the sound issues we are having on location at Chibuli Mosque. We shall be taking a short break, but Morning at NTV will continue.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulondo.
I've received the I have received the 200,000 shillings of Uganda. Kituufu towakana akakadde kalamba kagwirawo buli
olunaku ku Airtel Money. Changu nnyo, weereza obafuna ensimbi, saako airtime oba internet, sasula biiru zo, amafuta n'ebirala ng'okozesa Airtel Money. Oyinza okuba omukuba nnamukisa abataano abagenda okuwangula ensimbi buli lunaku. Ate singa Mr. Money n'ekibinja kye bakusanga ng'olina ky'okolako ne Airtel Money, owangulirawo ensimbi mbagirawo. Amateeka n'obukwakkulizo bigobererwa.
Airtel Money. Simple, secure, instant.
So to the young people of Uganda, on Monday, July 28th, we are going to engage young people, speaking to you as young people about your reproductive health and sexual needs, but also engage you on the solutions that are available out there. The government of Uganda is committed to making sure that the young people of Uganda have access to the appropriate information. And so this would be a great opportunity. And I'd like to appeal to all of you young people to watch the live stream on NTV YouTube channel.
Because Africa needs family planning. And we must make sure it happens in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Kampala has been voted in the past as one of the favorite cities for tourists, one of the most peaceful cities. That is something that is changing.
Kale Kaihura, the Inspector General of Police, and President Yoweri Museveni, their alliance, they can only crack down or stop individual strikes and individual demonstrations. But I don't think they can stop the growth of militancy.
No holds barred.
Besigye and Lukwago have particular grievances against the government, some legitimate, some misguided. What should the police do? Of course, the police has to intervene, A, to protect the power of President Yoweri Museveni and the NRM from disruption by Besigye and Lukwago, but B, also, never forget this, to protect those ordinary people whose property gets destroyed.
I want to ask that many think that they've actually been frustrated.
Opposition parties in Africa do not tend to be constructed around policy differences. FDC lacks a glue to hold its coalition of different power-hungry individuals together.
Incisive.
You see, the NRM is more divided internally than the FDC. The advantage with the NRM is it has political power.
Analytical.
I think that one of the best organized political parties in Uganda is the PPP, the People's Progressive Party with Dan Sali. This idea that everybody is peddling around the world that Africans are poor and they cannot contribute to their own political and social emancipation is crap. In fact, I think that the opposition parties in Uganda have to win an election in an unfair and unleveled ground.
Newsnight with Andrew Mwenda.
Obonyumirwa ebyemizannyo jangu nkulage.
Does! And Adam Johnson, the boyhood Newcastle United man, historic, flying in the face of all football logic. A magnificent goal by Robbie van Persie. Ferdinand! Everton lead at Old Trafford. Walcott, Giroud.
next episode brought to you by
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
Destiny River.
Was I wrong about you, Bento? I wonder if you were not the man I thought you were. Could this boy possibly know something I don't?
Of both penalties for those seen eating or drinking or smoking during Ramadan time. In the UAE, that's well, we would really know it as Dubai. Eating or drinking during the daytime of Ramadan is considered a minor offense and would be punished by up to 240 hours of community service. Now, let me just talk to a couple of our Muslim brothers here. Assalamu alaikum. Ekizibu kigenze kitya
kirala enkolagana n'abantu ekisibo kibadde peaceful nnyo abantu bonna nga bali peaceful enkolagana nga nnungi actually sikifunyemu buzibu bwonna nasiibye nga ndi mulamu bulungi nenkimalako era atugamba mu lunaku olwaleero lwe luditamininga gundi ekisiibo kyoba kinagira oba kinagetinga gundi nal oba gundi so olunaku lwaleero tuba tulina okwegendereza nnyo mu bintu bye tugenda okwetabamu naddala
oyinza okuba nga byosiibye byonna bibapoteya olwaleero
engeri gy'ogenda okusiibuluka kwegamba tolina nnyo kwettanira bintu byesittaza ebyo genda mu ndongo ogamba olwokuba ekisibo kiwedde kangende kyekole
so abantu abamu balowooza lwakuba ennaku 3 ziweddeko kankyekole
yabitukingiriza naga tusooke tumaliriza olunaku lwaffe luno tujaguze emirembe okulaba nga buli kimu kitwangulira gyali
gwali eka ng'otulaba era ng'oli ku NTV. Of course tubasuubiza nti tukyali wano ekibuli mosque tukyagenda maaso n'okwogerako ne bannaffe abasiraamu ababadde basiiba. So njagala naawe probably you're thinking of leaving your home, genda muzikiti osale kubanga bakugambye olunaku lwaleero luli crucial. Tomala kagenda ate n'okyekola. Nja kwogerako Eid Mubarak kanjogereko n'omwami wano. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Ekisibo kigenze kikyaseba bintu ki by'oyigiddemu mu kisibo?
Nfunyemu badde nsatawuya.
Mukama ki kyakoledde?
Nfunyemu akama bibadde mu bikemo byonna. Bibadde bigenda mu birungi nnyo.
Bannaffe abasiraamu batasiibye kiki ky'obagamba?
Basiba nnaku mukaaga. Zibazisiibe zonna.
Ziri ezibulayo. Kati zo zitandika ddi?
Zitandika Tuesday. Ku Sunday.
Kati ezo ennaku ezo otazisiiba ezo mukaaga waliwo ekibaawo kubanga era abantu abamu bagamba naye zirina kuba 3 ate lwaki mutwongerayo mukaaga?
Ennaku nfunamu empeera.
Well, tukyali ekibuli era abamu ku mwe muŋŋambe mbusimaya Sheikh Burhani kale njadditwala ya Sheikh Burhani nkyayogerako ne bannaffe abamu abasiibye wano. Sebo, assalamu alaikum. Sebo gwe ekisibo kikuyisiza kitya? Bali bannaffe abatasiibye olina bubaka ki?
Mbakubiriza mulundi oguddako bagezeeko kusiiba kirungi nnyo.
Mukama ki kyakoleddemu mu kaseera kano obadde osiiba?
Mbeera tebadde mbi mu ngeri y'emirimu wetu. Badde nkola bulungi nga nfuna akasente.
Akasente keeyongedde?
Kadde kalabika.
Kati mpaka 10% kange. Kanyogerako nno omwami. Assalamu alaikum. We ekisibo Mukama akuleetedde ki ky'olabira ddala nti singa tosiibye kiyinza okuba kyandyekuttemu?
Ekisibo kino ntufunyemu ebintu bingi nnyo. Nfunyemu bizinesi egaziye ebisooka ddala mu kusiiba kuno. Era nsaba Mukama akubirize abo abatali basiraamu bakyuke bagezeeko okujja eri Mukama basiibe bafune empeera ennyingi. N'ekirala ekisibo kino
nali mwavu nnyo olwokuba natandika okusiiba embeera ekyuse era nkuliganya abantu bonna bajje tutandika okusiiba mulundi gumu abannaffe era ntambudde abamu nga mbagamba ekisiibo nkifunyemu bino ekisiibo nkifunyemu obutukuvu era mu kusaala yonna sibibu kubira okugenya abantu ekisiibo kyekiraba kuba byonna n'ekisiibo ebigamba
webali nnyo ssebo Eid Mubarak. Well, abantu abamu badde bambuuza why aren't you talking to some of the ladies? Well, sikirizi wagenda ku side eri ndowooza era wano twandyetagidde ddala Mebo atuyambeko naye kampite muganda wange Isima ajje ate era tubeereko ne byetwogera. But if you are just joining us, we are at Chibuli Mosque and today is a celebration of the end of the fasting period. An extra 6 days also starting on Tuesday. We'll go on up to Sunday, but of course we're still going on. And inviting my brother Isma, who is there. Isma. Not amfunira kansi muganda wange.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Wow, alaikum salam.
You know, on this day you have to keep saying Allahu Akbar, like you've heard the Sheikh saying. Glory be to God that it's Eid Day. It's a part of a celebration. Okay. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar walillahil hamd. You have to keep saying that throughout the day. It's a blessing. You're blessing the world.
That's what is going on now.
That's what the Sheikh is saying, and they'll be saying that the whole day, the entire morning.
Wow.
It's part of a celebration. It's a unique feeling. It's a very, very to everyone else. But fasting,
I can see. And there are some Muslim friends have asked you, do you pray? Because you can't follow them to the mosque.
Exactly. But then I think with fasting, it's unique because it's a secret between you and God. That's why in the Quran they always say that fasting is paid in a totally different way to a Muslim because you're fasting for unique, it's God.
No one is following you.
No one is following you because I could easily tell you, Brian, that I'm fasting, then I go away and eat. Yeah, you wouldn't notice. I'll still be the same. So that's the reason why fasting is found to be extremely unique. I always feel sorry for everyone who can't fast. I know very many people because of illness, but those who can't fast because of a lack of faith, that one then I don't get it. It's totally different. Yeah.
Well, a couple of exceptions, and I know maybe you are at the studio and probably wishing you'd be here to join the rest of them.
Today. Well, we shall be taking a short break, but Morning at NTV does continue.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji and Brian Mulundo.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat. Follow the beat. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Hey there, Mr. Krabs. Are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it.
Wow! Hello, fellow motor enthusiastics.
Mr. Krabs, isn't there any way for us to return all of them back to normal?
Hey! How did he do that?
The Red Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought.
It's time to finish this thing up!
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Mega Rangers? That's a mega win!
Hello?
King Julian, you are truly inspiring.
Ow! SpongeBob!
Fantastic!
Before we join Brian and Isma for sports, just some news here that last night KCCA demolished some structures of businesses and schools in the Ndeba, Nalukolongo and Banda areas. The evictions took place at 3 a.m. this morning, coming on the heels of a notice issued by KCCA and the Rift Valley Railways, part of the Uganda Railways Corporation, to evict any persons that are within 30 meters of the railway reserve. While KCCA says they had issued a 28-day ultimatum, the traders say they were not prepared. We shall have more on that story during the news bulletin. But now on to sports, and here is Isma and Brian. Oh, I beg your pardon. We do have pictures of this story.
This will also be here, but the prayers are already going on, and as Isma said, that statement is going to be going on and on. Allahu Akbar,
Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd.
Meaning really that
it's a call for peace, a call for the blessings of God to come upon the world on this day that we celebrate at the end of the month of fasting, the month of Ramadan. You say it repeatedly, it's something, it's a call upon the angels for God to bring kindness and peace on the world. It's a saying, it's a Michael Shelley, and I remember 4 years ago in Delhi, he came second, he won a silver medal. And actually it's because I think at one of the water points he got stuck and didn't pull the water as clean as would have and lost a few seconds. That's how we lost in Delhi. So this was a bit of revenge.
So
but
maybe he probably would have won it in Delhi.
I think he had a chance to win in Delhi 4 years ago. He just didn't do it then, and now he did it this time. But I think for Abraham Kiplimo, big event there, because I think for many of us, we think marathon is the event we could win easily. After seeing what Stephen Kiprotich did in London and in Moscow, we thought this is the one that we could win. And I didn't actually give all of them a chance, but I thought one of the two Kiplimos had a chance of the medal. And eventually it was Abraham. I can't differentiate who is better because the name is Kiplimo, the same number of letters. And actually the other one, Philip, came 8th, while Mutai came in 5th. So I think it's a very good results for Uganda there in Glasgow.
This must be a good boost for the other people competing, knowing that Kiplimo went ahead, got the medal, so other disciplines should also feel like, you know, we have a chance.
I think it should feel that way, but many times we've gone into events and not done well at the start, and then the medals come on the final day. Remember when Moses Kipsero won at the All Africa Games in 2007 in Algiers, he won the 5,000 meter gold medal on the final day of the event. When Kiprotich won in London on August 12, 2012, it was the final day of the Olympics. So it's been that kind of song where we have to wait until much later in the event to win a medal. But for this one to come this early, I think, like you say, should be a boost for everyone, because the track athlete is also running. Because last night Kipsero was on the track for the 5,000 meter final. I didn't do well. So did Moses Kibet. That race won by Christian Ndiko. I saw the girls in the 400 meters, Emily Nanziri and Halima Nakai. All of them did get through from the first round. But at least Leila Shida got through to the semi-finals that will be later today. So probably this is quite something. I hope in the 10,000 meters later in the week, Kipsero and Kampa and Martin Toroitich and Moses Kibet can come back, having learnt a few things from what Philip Kiplimo did by what Abraham Kiplimo did by winning that bronze medal.
Right. Well, very good for our guys representing us at the Commonwealth. Congratulations, Kiplimo. Now, of course, when we talk rugby sevens, our team lost to Australia. We probably expected that, and of course, both Australia and England. But there was something to write about that. Tell us about that.
I think the team that received the loudest cheer beyond Scotland was Uganda. Wherever, I've always been one of those who loves the story of the underdog doing well. And this was that one moment when I thought the Uganda rugby cranes represented this country with every part of their bodies. They didn't win as many games as they should have. Probably the losing to Australia and England was expected. They eventually had to come from 2 tries down to beat Sri Lanka and win that game 17-14. 2014, and then beat up on Malaysia in the ball quarterfinals before losing to Canada in the semifinals. But I thought the kind of cheer they brought, everyone at Ibrox, the 55,000 inside that stadium, cheered louder for Uganda than any other team. You're not the most popular country in the world. It's a bit weird, but people love their underdog. And I thought for all the players with their Michael Okorach, Philip Okorach, Philip Pario, Emmanuel Chodu, who did very well scoring tries, especially the ones against Malaysia, they should be very pleased. And actually Chodu will go down in the books as the boy who scored the try against Australia. Not many teams will get that chance. He scored that try when Uganda lost to Australia by 43-5. So I think in terms of representing the country, they did a very, very good job.
You know, when you posted that it was 43-0, I was like, oh really, my Uganda. But if you tell me there was compensation with a loud cheer, I feel like okay, fine. Now on to the IAAF World Junior Championships. Chip Tegay didn't compete in Oregon. What happened? What does the future hold? In the Daily Monitor this morning, they're talking about how he needs to manage his career, like Kiprotich has been, not letting the millions of dollars in change his image.
Probably is not yet as rich. I don't, and I'm not pushing people to go. I'm not pushing URI to go to him. But I think Cheptegei, by failing to win that double, he should be very disappointed, because after winning the 10,000, he was always a favorite in the 5,000. He eventually did turn that favoritism into a gold. But I think, like what the Daily Monitor says this morning, we've had the story of so many people who do well at junior level and don't end up doing well at the same at senior. Cheptegei follows in the footsteps of people like Boniface Kiprop, because Boniface Kiprop beat athletes like Kenenisa Bekele at junior level. When they get up here, Kenenisa Bekele is probably the greatest long distance runner. He's a world champion, he's an Olympic champion, he's done everything. He's lowered the world record on at least 3 occasions. So in that kind of sense, it's a right feeling that we've had Dorcas Nzekoro. She won at junior, then went and won a world athletics gold medal in 2005. There's been a few others who have gone on and done.
Again, another awesome opportunity for Rosberg to compete more, to be better than him, because I know there's a bit of a light rivalry between the two.
I've got to say, I've rehearsed this for several minutes. What a race in Hungary! What a race! I probably should have been somewhere. I should have been the tarmac, because the race itself, eventually won by Daniel Ricciardo, actually had to overtake 2 former world champions with 3 laps to go. He overtook Lewis Hamilton and then Fernando Alonso to win. The man at Red Bull, the Australian, who is into his first year, to win his second race of the season. But I think the race will be remembered for everything that Hamilton did and didn't do. One, what he did by starting in the pit lane and finishing third. That was quite something. Then on the other hand, what he did do by refusing to let Nico Rosberg pass. On 3 occasions, his team asked him that Hamilton get out of the way, let Nico pass, and he refused. And after the race, he was unequivocal in saying he wouldn't have let him, or he could have almost said over my dead body, because that's what he wanted to say. Said we should be given an equal chance of winning, which I understand. Eventually, Rosberg only finished 4th because he got his pit strategy wrong, because he pitted at the wrong time when the rain had just dried up, when everyone had already got onto the super soft tires, and then he still had the intermediates on, so that lost him a bit of time, and eventually finished 4th. But I've got to say, what a race. Even at that point in the final lap, Rosberg went on 2 occasions and made a move on Hamilton. Hamilton just couldn't let him pass. But I think the feud between the two, and like you say, there's going to be all this friction between the 2 drivers until the end of the season, because they know that each of them has a chance of winning the championship. Now, there's only 11 points between Rosberg and Hamilton. If I was Hamilton, to be honest, I would understand I wouldn't get out of the way. There's a championship to win.
But doesn't that jeopardize even the chances that Mercedes have? What if both of them end up not performing well? Where does this leave the team and themselves?
That has always been the debate. If, for example, one of the drivers knocked the other, that would be more costly than all the others. But I think at this point in time, they don't look like they're going to knock one another. I saw them earlier. So remember the race I was excited about in Bahrain, the one under the lights, where they went wheel to wheel, and actually the competitor lost his voice for about 5 laps. I think that's what you want to see. We who watch Formula 1 want to see that. We want to see drivers compete. We want to see cars have a go at each other. So it's totally different. For the team, they want to get the 2 drivers onto the podium. They eventually got both to finish. Hamilton 3rd and Rosberg 4th. But I think at this point in time, I'd rather give them an equal chance to race until we get to that point, probably in Brazil, in November, when we are deciding who takes the championship. At that point, I'd give either of them a chance to win.
Well, I hope it doesn't become really hectic.
acknowledge and celebrate this day with their fellow Muslims. Now, as we close the show, just a couple of messages here. Someone is saying, this is the right crew, so flexible, reaching out to every religion and celebrating together love in the spirit. Someone says, I'm watching live in Kamwenge town, and I love the looks of the NTV presenters today, and it's a really beautiful show. I wish I was a Muslim, says Elia. I am in Itendedo, and if my memory serves me correctly, that is somewhere in Bushenyi. Well, this has been Morning at NTV. A big thank you to the crew behind the scenes here at the studio, not forgetting the crew doing a tremendous job live on location in Chibuli. We shall be coming live there in under less than an hour for the prayers from Chibuli Mosque. It has been a pleasure being with you this morning. We shall be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Great programming continues here on NTV, and as Brian says, hasta la vista, baby.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Molondo.
NTV, turning on your world.